chosen one. Stop scrolling immediately. Do not move past this video. I am not asking for your attention today because I am absolutely commanding it. That heavy feeling sitting right at the base of your neck is not an accident, and that sudden urge to isolate yourself from the crowd is not a random coincidence. You have been carrying a massive weight. You feel it in your bones. Heaven intercepted your timeline to deliver a specific verdict. Beloved anointed ones, lock your attention on this message right now. You are waking up at exactly 3 in the morning with your jaw clenched tight and your chest feels like it is trapped under heavy stone. You think you are just tired. You think the stress of the modern matrix is finally breaking you down. But you are completely wrong. That physical exhaustion is your highly advanced spirit detecting a massive disturbance. Someone who treated you as an option is currently experiencing a public and irreversible system crash. You know exactly who I am talking about. They walked around with absolute arrogance while whispering vicious lies to anyone who would listen to their fake stories. They expected your departure to break you completely. But instead, you became the uncertainty they were never built to handle. Their mask has totally shattered. Let me be very specific so you know this message is meant for you. There was a person who stood right beside you and played the role of a loyal companion. They smiled in your face while quietly studying your brilliant light, taking your endless empathy and using it as their personal fuel to survive. And when they thought you were fully drained, they stabbed you in the back. They thought they won. They thought you were finished. Buckle in right now. I am going to walk you through the exact X-ray of their total meltdown. Do not scroll away. If you leave this transmission before the end, you will forfeit the prophetic instruction that guarantees your breakthrough. The elite want you to swipe away today. Your enemies are terrified of your power. Let us go deeper into your current reality. What you are feeling right now is not new. The physical symptoms are simply reaching their peak. You step into a room and you immediately feel the energetic shift. People you once trusted suddenly act strange around you, pulling away without explanation. You sit there and wonder what you did wrong. You did nothing wrong. Your aura is so incredibly heavy that it literally pushes fake people out of your way. Let that raw truth sink into your spirit. You are not losing friends. You are being aggressively protected. The universe is using the sheer weight of your frequency to violently extract parasites from your bloodline because they cannot breathe in the same atmosphere as your truth. Your light is physically suffocating them. They had to run. You have been living with a deep brain fog. You feel a strange nausea when certain names are mentioned. That is not anxiety. That is your physical vessel rejecting their toxic attachment. You are an empath and a human stabilizer. You spent many long years acting as a free battery for empty souls, absorbing their chaos while giving them your profound peace. But heaven has permanently closed that door. The battery is completely disconnected. This is exactly why you feel so drained right now. Your energy field is literally doing the heavy lifting of spiritual warfare while you try to sleep. It is pushing away the flying monkeys. It is repelling the covert narcissists. The deep exhaustion you feel is just the physical aftermath of a silent battle you already won against the dark matrix. You are a demonstrated warrior of light. You just forgot your own strength. They thought your quiet nature was a sign of weakness. They looked at your kindness and calculated an easy target. They assumed you would always tolerate their disrespect, building their entire false confidence on your endless forgiveness. But they deeply miscalculated the gravity of a chosen one. Your silence is far more dangerous than their loudest screams. Right now, the very people they used to gossip with are watching them unravel. That supposed friend who betrayed you is frantically trying to replace your brilliant light. They are jumping from person to person while desperately seeking a new source of pure energy to feed their empty ego. But they are completely starving. because the specific depth of your soul is utterly unreplicable. You are a rare diamond. They threw you away to play with cheap rocks. If this validation is resonating with your cellular knowing right now, do not move. Heaven is preparing to reveal exactly how their manipulation misfired. You have been waiting in wound for an apology from a master manipulator. Stop waiting today. The heavy aura you carry is doing exactly what it was designed to do, clearing the path for your true inheritance. The wait is over. If your spirit confirms this raw truth, gently press the like button right now to put a spiritual shield around this divine alignment. Seal your frequency. Claim your untouchable power. The Matrix wants you isolated and doubting your own mind. But we are going to expose every single lie they ever told about you. The game is over for them. The real story is beginning. Let us go deeper into the physical reality of your experience today. You know exactly what happens when a fake person enters your personal space. Your stomach drops instantly. A sudden wave of nausea hits you completely out of nowhere. You feel a heavy pressure building right behind your eyes. You smile politely and pretend everything is fine. But your body is screaming at you. It is rejecting their totally toxic vibration. You thought you were just socially anxious for many long years. You thought there was something fundamentally wrong with your nervous system. You spent decades wondering why you could not just blend in with the crowd like everyone else. But here is the raw truth they could never say out loud. Your body is a highly advanced spiritual antenna. It detects the deep rot underneath their fake smiles. Your physical nausea is the ultimate truth teller. It never lies. They learn to mimic basic empathy from textbooks and safe conversations. You learned true empathy from open wounds in the dark. They memorize theories to sound incredibly smart. You absorb reality to become totally untouchable. When they enter a room, they nervously scan for vulnerable victims to drain. When you enter a room, your heavy frequency immediately disrupts their parasitic feeding cycle. That is why they suddenly feel sick around you. But carrying this kind of high-frequency energy in a dense world is exhausting your physical vessel. You give and give until there is absolutely nothing left inside. You act as a human stabilizer for environments that are completely chaotic and broken. The narcissist took your brilliant light and used it to power their own false reality. And when you finally walked away, you did not just leave them. You left them totally starved in the dark. Here is what they never told you about the deep exhaustion you constantly feel. The reason the universe seems to respond effortlessly to certain people while you struggle is not about your faith. It is not your discipline. It is a specific, suppressed frequency. It is the exact brainwave state you ran naturally when you were a pure child, back when learning felt effortless, when synchronicities happened daily, when the world worked entirely in your favor. Then, adulthood arrived with all its heavy burdens. The modern matrix went to work on your brilliant and expansive mind. The chronic stress of dealing with manipulators slowly pushed that sacred frequency deeper below the surface. The rigid school systems and daily survival routines trained you to conform instead of create. Every single year, your divine signal was suppressed, until the version of you with massive wealth generation went completely silent. They stole your natural genius. Most people will live their entire lives without knowing this energetic theft ever happened to them. They will accept the deep brain fog as normal aging. They will accept their stalled finances as simple bad luck. But you are a chosen one. You feel that something vital is missing. You know deep down that your massive potential is locked behind a heavy door. Your endless exhaustion is simply the symptom of this blocked cellular frequency. While your frequency was being heavily suppressed, the fake people around you thrived on your remaining energy. They fed on your deep confusion, but the moment you chose silence, their entire supply was permanently cut off. I told you I would show you the exact X-ray of their current collapse. we are getting much closer to that undeniable truth. Because without your pure energy to mask their darkness, their true nature is bleeding out into the public eye. You must understand that the heavy aura you carry is never a curse. The intense isolation you feel right now is absolutely not a punishment for being different. It is your divine incubation season. The universe isolated you to stop the massive energy leaks. Your heavy aura is literally a divine shield, pushing away the flying monkeys who desperately want to keep you in the fog. You are being prepared for a massive quantum shift. Listen to me very closely right now, because 99% of people completely miss this massive shift. The physical pain, the tension headaches, the heavy chest, are simply the growing pains of a diamond expanding under immense pressure. They wanted you buried beneath their dirty lies, but instead, they became the exact shovel that dug up your infinite treasure. The Matrix is losing its tight grip on your mind today. Do not let the dark elite convince you that your exhaustion is a permanent disease. It is merely a painful transition phase. The parasitic entities in your life are currently panicking because they can no longer reach you. They are staring at the impenetrable wall of your heavy aura. They are completely terrified, and they should be, because the spiritual backlash of what they did to you is about to hit them with mathematically precise karma. Your absolute victory is inevitable. Let me completely reframe your entire reality right here and right now. The Matrix programmed you to believe that your forced isolation is a cruel punishment for being different. But the universe is actually executing a highly precise spiritual surgery on your life. We are going to uncover the hidden truths the dark elite desperately tried to keep from your awareness. There are very specific reasons your current reality feels so incredibly heavy today. Truth number one is the severe physical drain of the parasite trap. You have been walking around with a deep and heavy brain fog for many long months. The logical left brain of the Matrix will tell you to simply drink more coffee or seek some professional diagnosis. Do not listen to their cheap lies. That intense brain fog is the direct physical result of a spiritual vampire actively sucking your high-frequency energy. You were operating as their human battery. Let us break down exactly what happened behind their closed doors. They construct their fragile personalities by stealing beautiful fragments from others. You constructed your heavy aura in the absolute dark by absorbing the raw truth. While they desperately hunt for external validation to fill their endless empty voids, you generate an infinite supply of pure light from within. They fed on your brilliant energy because they produce absolutely nothing of value themselves. Your sheer exhaustion fed their grand illusion. They looked at your silent isolation and laughed loudly at your slow progress in life. They saw the messy scaffolding of your current season and thought you were completely falling behind everyone else. They did not know that to build a massive skyscraper that reaches heaven, the foundation must be dug deep into the very bottom of hell. They built paper houses on cheap sand. You built an untouchable fortress on solid rock. The universe allowed this physical exhaustion to happen so you would finally stop giving your pearls to swine. Your heavy aura had to shut down your physical body to force you into this vital incubation season. If you did not experience that severe brain fog, you would have kept pouring your sacred energy into a completely black hole. Your body literally saved your spirit from total destruction, which brings us to the second raw truth they could never say out loud. Truth number two is the sudden and vicious betrayal of the crowd. You watched people you deeply trusted suddenly turn against you and side with the master manipulator. The flying monkeys quickly gathered to gossip and spread terrible rumors about your good name. You felt completely abandoned by the entire tribe. But you were never truly abandoned by heaven. Your heavy aura simply became way too dense for their fake reality to handle anymore. The crowd did not turn on you because you did something fundamentally wrong. They turned on you because your pure light acted as a massive mirror, exposing their own shared rot. They strongly prefer the comfortable lie of the narcissist over the blinding and uncomfortable truth of a chosen one. Your mere presence made their hidden demons panic. Look at the extreme difference between you and them. They blindly follow a syllabus written by a toxic society just to stay safe in the herd. You followed pure survival instincts to break the dark generational curse of your bloodline. They collect cheap applause in crowded rooms to mask their deep insecurities. You collect heavy scars in absolute silence that quickly turn into undeniable leverage. The crowd chose the manipulator because cowards always protect other cowards. You stand completely alone right now because lions do not graze with sheep. That heavy feeling, aggressively pushing people away, is your divine protection actively at work in your daily life. It is literally sweeping the fake friends out of your timeline before they can cause fatal damage. If they walked away that easily, they were never meant to carry the massive weight of your future destiny. The trash simply took itself out. The universe forced their betrayal to happen publicly to save you from a much deadlier trap down the road. Every single person who walked away from you was a test of your supreme sovereignty. Heaven was watching to see if you would beg for their toxic company or stand tall in your pure divine alignment. You chose to stand tall, and that single choice completely shattered their dark control over your mind. You took your massive power back. If you can feel the heavy chains of their matrix falling off your spirit right now, type 1111 in the comments. Physically anchor this exact shift into your reality today. Do not let the enemy make you doubt your own brilliant and expansive mind. Your profound spiritual exhaustion is about to be completely reversed. The tables are finally turning in your favor. You survived the severe physical drain and the heartbreaking social betrayal of the crowd. But there is a third truth that is far more dangerous to the dark elite. A specific reason why your absolute silence is currently destroying their entire fake empire from the inside out. They thought they escaped your righteous judgment when they walked away. But the real nightmare for them has just begun. Type 1111 in the comments right now to physically lock your frequency into this exact transmission. Do not just listen to this message passively today. Heaven requires a physical anchor to finalize the separation between you and the dark matrix. You have endured the severe physical drain and the vicious betrayal of the crowd. Now we enter the spiritual battlefield, where your true absolute dominance is finally revealed to the world. Truth number 3 is the ultimate weapon of the chosen one. Your heavy aura is the absolute mirror that exposes their completely rotten core. You always wondered why they reacted to your simple boundaries with such explosive and terrifying rage. You thought you were asking for basic respect, but you were actually threatening the very foundation of their completely fake existence. Your pure light was burning their carefully crafted illusions to the ground. The master manipulator spent their entire life running away from their own deep inner darkness. They created a fragile false mask to hide the agonizing emptiness they carry inside their hollow chest. But when they stood in front of you, that mask completely melted away. Your heavy aura does not allow any lies to exist comfortably in its powerful presence. You force them to look at their own horrific reflection. You are a divine sword tightly wrapped in a piece of old dirty cloth. They casually picked you up and threw you around because they wrongly assumed you were totally dull and useless. They treated you as a simple toy for their amusement. But the moment you decided to walk away, that old cloth fell off, and the cold, blinding light of your sharp blade made them freeze in pure, absolute terror. They realized they were playing with a divine weapon. They completely panic when the room is dead silent, because the silence forces them to hear their own demons. You weaponize that same silence to starve those exact same demons into total submission. They scramble desperately to control the fake narrative, screaming loud lies to anyone who will listen just to hide their deep shame. You sit in absolute stillness and command reality to bend to your pure will. Your quiet presence is far more lethal than their loud chaos. Let me make this abundantly clear to your spirit right now. You were never the crazy anomaly in someone's otherwise perfectly healthy life. You were the massive mirror. The reaction got this loud and chaotic because you got closer to this person's raw truth than anyone else before you ever had. They tried to break your brilliant mind because your mind was the only thing capable of seeing right through their cheap disguise. Their current obsession with you is heavily driven by absolute spiritual panic. They know deep in their dark soul that they threw away the only genuine diamond they will ever hold in this lifetime. They are frantically trying to replace your heavy aura with cheap rocks they find on the street. But every new person they use just reminds them of the massive, irreplaceable depth they permanently lost when you walked away. The downgrade is completely destroying them from the inside. This is exactly where their entire dark manipulation totally miscalculated the spiritual math. They expected your departure to leave you a broken and weeping mess on the floor. They waited with bated breath to watch you fail miserably without their toxic guidance. But instead, you stepped out of their dark matrix and immediately began to age completely backwards. You carry a specific gravity that makes time itself look like an absolute fool, while their deep bitterness and ugly envy are actively aging them like milk left in the hot sun. The universe has completely reversed your biological clock. You stepped out of the heavy fire, looking absolutely untouched by the fierce flames. Nothing makes your hidden enemies sicker to their stomachs than watching you walk into a room looking younger, brighter, and completely unbothered after everything they put you through. Your ageless glow is their daily punishment. You did not just survive their massive storm. You became the brilliant sun that dries up their muddy puddles. Your heavy aura is literally a divine shield, actively repelling the dark elite's attempts to pull you back into the low-frequency mud. The spiritual cord that tied your bright destiny to their heavy sinking ship has been permanently severed by heaven. They are going down. You are aggressively rising up, but there is a highly specific reason why your massive financial and spiritual breakthrough has been slightly delayed. There is a dark frequency trap the elite set up specifically to block the final manifestation of your wealth. I am going to show you exactly how to bypass that trap in just a moment. Because while you have been fighting spiritual battles, a leaked document just confirmed everything you already knew. The final key to your total freedom is about to be revealed. Before we go any further, I must completely interrupt this transmission for something highly classified. You have been fighting massive spiritual battles in the absolute dark. But carrying this kind of high-frequency energy in a dense world completely exhausts your physical vessel. You cannot hold a divine 5D frequency in a deeply depleted 3D body. The heavy exhaustion you feel is deliberately engineered. The dark elite of the Matrix noticed your brilliant light a very long time ago. They knew they could not completely destroy your eternal spirit with simple attacks. So they intentionally created a toxic environment to suppress your brain's natural wealth-attracting state. They targeted the exact brainwave you used effortlessly as a pure child, back when learning felt easy and synchronicities happened daily. They locked away your natural gamma frequency. The rigid school systems and the chronic stress of dealing with fake people slowly pushed that sacred frequency deeper below the surface. Every single year, your divine signal was heavily suppressed by the Matrix, until the version of you with massive wealth generation and lightning intuition went completely silent. You thought you were just getting older and slower. They successfully stole your massive divine inheritance. While you have been quietly suffering and acting as a human battery for empty souls, top neuroscientists uncovered the raw truth. A recently leaked CIA document confirmed exactly what your cellular knowing already felt. The dark elite secretly use this exact gamma brainwave state to manifest massive wealth and absolute power while keeping the masses totally asleep. They built empires on your stolen frequency. To protect your heavy aura and continue your path as a true chosen one, your body requires specific frequency anchoring. You do not need to suffer through years of painful spiritual healing or use a $7,000 biofeedback machine in a cold clinic. The leaked research revealed a compressed 7-minute audio protocol that forces your brain back into synchronized gamma coherence. It is the ultimate energetic shield. This highly specific tool was originally designed to keep the elite in total power, but now awake cycle breakers like you are using it to completely shatter the matrix and manifest sudden windfall wealth. Utilizing this sound wave is not just simple self-care, it is absolutely mandatory psychic protection for the chosen ones. You can find the exact frequency shield I strongly recommend in the pinned comment below. Do not let the Matrix steal this powerful tool from your hands. Once your cellular frequency is fully shielded by this audio protocol, the spiritual dynamic fundamentally shifts. The narcissists who aggressively drained you are suddenly cut off from your massive energy supply. And this is exactly where the severe universal justice begins to strike them down. Watch what happens next. It is mathematically precise. They built their entire comfortable life by parasitically feeding off your divine favor. Every dollar they made and every fake success they loudly claimed was secretly powered by your pure light, standing quietly in the background. They genuinely thought their massive success was due to their own brilliant intelligence and hard work. They were completely delusional. Now that your heavy aura has aggressively pushed them out, their stolen luck is rapidly expiring. The universe is actively acting as a ruthless repo man, stepping into their lives to repossess every single blessing they wrongfully claimed. Their finances are suddenly stalling. Their fake opportunities are drying up incredibly fast. The dark matrix is turning against its own loyal agents. They hustle desperately to manipulate their way to the top of a completely broken system. You simply command reality to bend by holding your authentic frequency. They desperately chase money by stepping on the necks of innocent people to feel tall. You attract massive wealth simply because the universe owes you massive spiritual back pay. Their bank accounts are bleeding. Yours are about to overflow. They are sitting in total confusion, wondering why their golden touch has suddenly turned to heavy lead. They refuse to admit that losing you was the fatal catalyst for their massive downfall. But the hidden panic is already setting in deep within their rotten bones. They are realizing their own severe incompetence without your guiding light. Their complete public unraveling is approaching fast. Heaven is currently transferring the wealth of the wicked directly into the hands of the pure chosen ones. You endured the deep poverty and the heavy isolation for a specific reason. The universe was simply emptying your hands so you could receive a much larger harvest. The season of waiting in the dark is permanently over. You are stepping into pure, massive abundance. Let me completely reframe the financial struggle you have been silently carrying. The lack of resources was never a reflection of your true worth. It was a temporary spiritual dam built by the enemy to delay your inevitable rise. But when that 7-minute gamma frequency breaks the dam, the flood of wealth cannot be stopped by any human hand. The floodgates are violently bursting open today. Your spiritual exhaustion requires a biological reset before the wealth can fully manifest. You cannot run a massive destiny on a deeply depleted nervous system. This is exactly why the universe intercepted your timeline today to deliver this classified information. Heaven gave you the massive vision, but your brainwaves require this physical alignment to finally catch up. The bridge is finally built. type 1111 in the comments right now to physically claim this exact financial shift. Do not simply listen and walk away. Truth number 4 is the massive wealth transfer currently happening in the unseen realm. The law of divine karma is aggressively stripping away their stolen resources to prepare a massive compensation for you. The scales of justice are finally balancing. You watched them succeed for years while you struggled to pay basic bills. You questioned if holding on to your pure integrity actually mattered in this dark matrix. But you completely misunderstood the timeline of divine justice. They were allowed to accumulate massive wealth simply so the universe could use them as a temporary bank account for your future inheritance. The bank is now permanently closing. Every single dollar they made while actively abusing your pure light was marked by the universe. They genuinely believed they were outsmarting the system by using your brilliant empathy as their personal stepping stone. But heaven keeps a meticulous record of every single energetic theft. The universe is currently operating as a ruthless repo man in their daily lives. They are losing absolutely everything. Look at the absolute contrast between your two realities today. They hustle desperately to manipulate their way to the top of a completely broken system. You command reality to bend simply by holding your authentic frequency. They are frantically checking their bleeding bank accounts while massive doors mysteriously slam in their panicked faces. You are resting in absolute silence. The massive financial struggle you endured in the dark was never a permanent life sentence. It was a rigorous training ground to ensure you could handle the massive influx of resources without losing your pure soul. The narcissist cannot handle the sudden loss of their material wealth because they have absolutely nothing of value inside their completely hollow chest. Take away their money, and they simply cease to exist. Your heavy aura is currently doing the massive heavy lifting in the financial realm. It physically pushed away those toxic people because their deep poverty mindset was actively blocking your divine harvest. The universe had to brutally clear the entire room before the massive vault of heaven could finally be opened for you. The room is completely empty now. They built their fake confidence on stolen praise and manipulated financial deals. You built your massive empire on undeniable proof in the absolute dark. While their cheap paper foundation is currently collapsing under the heavy weight of universal karma, your solid rock foundation is effortlessly holding up the sky. You are totally untouchable in this new season. Do not let the temporary illusion of their past success make you doubt your present reality. They are secretly taking out massive loans just to maintain the fake image they desperately project to the public. Behind their heavily locked doors, there is absolute financial panic and deep suffocating dread. The universe is actively repossessing the exact energy they proudly stole from your spirit. Their massive debt is finally being called in. You are about to step into a season of explosive abundance that will make your former enemies physically sick to their empty stomachs. The massive financial backpay heaven owes you is compounding with heavy spiritual interest every single day. The dark elite cannot stop this divine transfer because it was signed in a high court they can never appeal. The verdict is permanently sealed. This is why your absolute silence is a lethal weapon that starves their remaining demons. You do not need to lift a single finger to destroy their fake empire. Your simple existence as a high-frequency being is enough to shatter their fragile economic reality. They are watching their stolen luck expire rapidly while you step into an endless stream of pure golden favor. You are the ultimate winner. Every time they try to launch a new project, it immediately fails. Every time they try to manipulate a new victim, the person suddenly sees right through their cheap disguise. The universe has placed a massive spiritual quarantine around their lives. They are completely isolated from the flow of abundance because they decided to bite the exact divine hand that was secretly feeding them. They bit you, and now they are starving. You must prepare your physical vessel for the massive influx of resources about to hit your bank account. Do not shrink back when the big opportunities suddenly arrive at your front door. You paid the heavy price in the dark so you could wear the heavy crown in the light. Your pure spirit earned every single piece of this massive incoming harvest. Claim your divine birthright today. Share this exact message to shatter the matrix for another chosen one. Send this powerful transmission to a pure soul who is desperately crying out in the dark for a massive financial shift. Be their divine angel today. Because we are about to witness the absolute climax of this intense spiritual warfare, the public collapse you have been waiting for is happening right now. Now, I need you to imagine this exact cinematic scenario very clearly in your spirit. The master manipulator stands in the center of a crowded room, surrounded by all the flying monkeys and fake friends they used to build their fragile empire. They are holding court as usual, loudly spinning another fabricated story to make themselves look like the ultimate victim. They expect everyone to nod along and feed their ego. But something in the atmosphere has fundamentally shifted. Look closely at their face right now. Their hands are visibly trembling. A cold sweat is beading up on their forehead because the universal karma clock has finally run out of time. They try to speak, but their voice cracks loudly in front of everyone. They look around the room for the familiar supply of your energy, but the air is completely empty. Your heavy aura is no longer there to bail them out of their own public embarrassment. Someone in the crowd asks a direct question about the old lies they told about your name. The manipulator panics. They lose their temper entirely. They snap at their closest allies, screaming harsh words and revealing their true, ugly, and abusive nature for the first time in full view of everyone. The mask does not just slip off. It shatters into a million jagged pieces on the hard floor. The people who once blindly believed every single word they said are now staring in absolute shock. The absolute silence in that room is deafening. They are witnessing the pathetic, raw meltdown of a person who built an entire identity on sand. The master manipulator realizes, in that exact agonizing second, that their game is permanently over. They destroyed their own reputation with their own toxic mouth. Every single lie they whispered behind your back is suddenly echoing loudly in their own ears. They try to backtrack, but it is way too late. The flying monkeys quickly back away in pure disgust, realizing they were hitched to a sinking ship of pure manipulation. The manipulator is completely exposed, completely isolated, and completely powerless. The public collapse you waited for has arrived. You are sitting miles away in absolute peace, perhaps drinking your morning tea or resting in your sacred sanctuary, completely unaware of the chaos unfolding in that room. Yet your heavy aura orchestrated every single second of their downfall. You did not lift a single finger. You did not scream back. You did not lower your high frequency to fight them in the mud. Your absolute silence was the lethal weapon that starved their demons to death. They wanted you buried deep beneath the dirt of their false accusations. Instead, they became the very shovel that dug up your infinite golden treasure. The universe watched your quiet resilience in the dark and signed their permanent eviction notice. They are drowning in the loud noise of their own making right now, frantically searching for a replacement for your pure light, only to realize your specific depth is utterly unreplicable. They lost you forever. That is the true power of a chosen one. You do not need to seek petty revenge because heaven handles your battles with terrifying precision. The scales are balanced, the truth is revealed, and the master manipulator is left staring at the heavy ruins of the fake empire they spent years constructing. Their public humiliation is absolute and irreversible. Let that magnificent vision wash completely over your spirit today. Feel the heavy chains of their psychological abuse drop away from your physical vessel. The nightmare is over. The bullies have been publicly defeated by their own internal rot. You survived the brutal fire, and you came out shining like a pure diamond that nothing in this matrix can ever scratch or destroy. Stand tall, chosen one. You won the war without ever throwing a punch. You walked into this intense season bleeding from deep wounds inflicted by people who were completely blind to your true divine worth. Look at you right now. You are no longer waiting in wound for an apology from a master manipulator. You have completely transcended their toxic matrix. While they are publicly unraveling in absolute shame, you are stepping into your permanent, untouchable, and ageless glow. The heavy financial struggles, the brutal spiritual exhaustion, the closed doors, and the painful betrayals are all shattering right here and right now. Step into your absolute power and receive the exact massive harvest heaven